Hello everyone, I am Ashwini Saurabh Metras from Department of Statistics, RBNB College, Sirampur. Today we will see the concept of coefficient of variation, which is the relative measure for variance or standard deviation. It is abbreviated as C dot V. So it is the coefficient of variation and it is suggested by Professor Carl Pearson. So this is the relative measure of variance, that is the measure of dispersion, and it is given by CV equals to standard deviation upon the absolute value of arithmetic mean multiplied by 100. So it is denoted by sigma upon absolute value of x bar into 100. So this is the formula to calculate coefficient of variation. There is a multiplier 100 because sometimes this ratio sigma upon modulus of x bar is too small. So this multiplier 100 is taken here, and note that this coefficient of variation is always denoted by a percentile. So the value is always in percentage. Then sometimes we want to compare the two measure of dispersion or the dispersion between the data. In that case mostly CV is used. Now we will see one example where we have calculated the arithmetic mean, standard deviation and coefficient of variation for the data. So here we can see that this is the given data of 5 observations. This is ungrouped data. Here we have calculated summation xi, the total is 100. Then summation, here we have calculated xi square. So square of these 5 observations are written here. Then summation xi square is written here, which is 2442. Now we have our formula to calculate arithmetic mean. So x bar is the summation of xi upon n. So here 100 upon 5, which is 20. Further, this is the formula to calculate standard deviation. Summation root of summation of xi square upon n minus x bar square. So by substituting these values here, we get our variance as 88.4, and which gives the standard deviation sigma as a 9.40. Then by using the formula, CV can be calculated, which is 45.21 and written in a percentage. So 45.21% of variation is there in this data. Similarly, suppose we are given the two data sets, then we can compute CV for both the data sets, and the further we compare the CV, means if CV of first data set is greater than CV of second data set, then we say that the data having less CV is more consistent or more reliable because variation is less in that data. So in this way we can compare the two data sets. Now we will study the merits and demerits of standard deviation. So first is, it is based on all observation. So this is the requisite of good measure of dispersion. Then it is rigidly defined. The next is, it is capable of further mathematical treatment. Means we can calculate combined standard deviation. So it is written as it is capable of further mathematical treatment. Next is it ignores algebraic signs of observations. And it is less affected by sampling fluctuations. So these are some merits of standard deviation, which is the measure of dispersion. Now we will study the demerits of standard deviation. First is, it is not calculated for qualitative data. Means suppose the data are in attribute type of characteristics. If the data is of gender or education level, so in that case there are no values of observations, so we cannot calculate standard deviation for it. So it requires the numerical values. Also it is not calculated for the data with open-end classes. If there are open-end classes, means the extreme classes are with open-end, then we cannot calculate mid value for that class, which is required to calculate the standard deviation. So these are some demerits. Also, it is not so easy to understand comparing to other measure of dispersions. Not simple to calculate. And not easy to understand also. Further, it is affected by extreme observations. So it is unduly affected by the extreme observations. So these are some merits and demerits of standard deviation. Now we will see some applications or uses of standard deviation. So there are many uses, one of which is to calculate precision. So to calculate the precision of a data, the formula is, it is K upon variance. So we calculate standard deviation from variance. So K upon variance means it is inversely proportional to variance. Here we use the term standard deviation also. Then standard deviation, from standard deviation we calculate CV, and which is used to compare the data. So for comparison purpose, CV is calculated, which is dependent on standard deviation. Further, in portfolio analysis, the risk factor is calculated by using standard deviation, means the price of standard deviation of price of shares are calculated there. There are many more examples where this term standard deviation is used. Also, the spread of data is calculated by x bar minus 3 sigma to x bar plus 3 sigma. So in this way the spread of data is calculated, and here we can see that the term sigma is required here. So here are the uses of standard deviation. Let us see some properties of standard deviation. The first property is mean square deviation, which we have learned earlier, is always greater or equal to variance. Further, variance, or we can say that standard deviation. Then the second property here we can learn is effect of change of origin. So let us prove this property, and the statement is given by, suppose x1, x2, so on xn are the observations on a data, or these are the data, then variance is given by variance of x. If yi equals to xi minus a, means we have subtracted a constant a from each observation xi, so we will get the observations, new observations y1, y2, so on yn. Then variance of x will be equal to variance of y. So this is the statement, means we have to prove that there is no any effect of change of origin on variance. So let us see its proof. So here yi equal to xi minus a, we know that y bar equals to x bar minus a from the property of arithmetic mean or property of average, that this average is affected by effect of change of origin. So that's why y bar equals to x bar minus a is known to us. So by definition, variance of y can be calculated by 1 upon n into summation of yi minus y bar bracket square, which is written from the definition of variance. We can also prove this property for standard deviation also, means standard deviation of x will be equal to standard deviation of y, means we have to just take square root of these terms. Let us prove this first. So I will substitute the value of yi and y bar from here. So 1 upon n into summation of, this is xi minus a minus x bar, so here will be plus a bracket square. Here we can see that the constant term gets cancelled, and we have 1 upon n summation of xi minus x bar bracket square, which is equal to variance of x. Similarly, if you want to prove for standard deviation, then we can write as standard deviation of y will be square root of this term. So again square root of these terms. Further, square root of variance is a standard deviation of x. So in this way we can prove this property for standard deviation also. So now let's see the next property. Here we have seen that there is effect of change of origin on, there is no any effect of change of origin on variance or standard deviation. We have proved this result for ungrouped data. Let us see for grouped data, then we will see the next property. So suppose there are grouped data, means xi are the observation and fi are the corresponding frequencies to xi, or xi are the mid values of the classes, means there is a grouping like xi and fi. In this case, suppose yi equals to xi minus a, then y bar will be again y bar minus a, sorry, x bar minus a. Then from the formula of variance of y, we have 1 upon capital N into summation of fi into yi minus y bar bracket square. So here I have written the definition of variance for group data. Now let us substitute. So here is the standard deviation because I have taken square root. So square root of 1 upon capital N into summation of, this will be xi minus a minus x bar plus a will be there, which is equals to 1 upon capital N into summation xi minus x bar. So here will be multiplied by fi bracket square, which is standard deviation of x. So this property can be also proved for group type of data. Now we will see the next property of standard deviation, which is effect of change of origin and scale. So the next property is effect of change of origin and scale. So suppose x1, x2 so on are the data, that is we will see for ungrouped data. Then suppose yi equals to xi minus a upon h. So here we have changed the origin by a and we have changed the scale by multiplying it with 1 upon h. Then from property of arithmetic mean, that is property of average, we know that it is affected by change of origin as well as change of scale. So y bar will be x bar minus a upon h. Now we have to see it for the variance. So let us compute it. Variance of x. So here is the formula, 1 upon n summation of xi minus x bar bracket square. Let us calculate it for y. So variance of y will be 1 upon n into summation of yi minus y bar bracket square. Let us substitute the value of yi and y bar from here. So 1 upon n into summation xi minus a upon h minus, this will be x bar minus a upon h bracket square. So by solving this, we will get this h as a 1 upon h square into 1 upon n summation of xi minus x bar bracket square. So here we can see that it is 1 upon h square into variance of x. So variance is affected by change of scale only. Similar proof can be written for standard deviation also. For standard deviation we have to just write all the terms in square root. Also this proof can be written for group type of data. So for standard deviation of y, if we calculate, then it will be 1 upon h into standard deviation of x. And for a group data, again this will give variance of y equals to 1 upon capital N. So capital N is the total of frequency. Here I am writing for group type of data. So the formula is summation of fi into yi minus y bar bracket square. So let us substitute yi and y bar. So xi minus a upon h, x bar minus a upon h bracket square. So this will give us summation of fi into xi minus x bar bracket square, which is 1 upon h square into variance of x. So in this way we can prove this property of effect of change of origin and scale on variance, and it can be seen that variance or standard deviation gets affected only by change of scale, and it does not affected by the change of origin. Now let us see the next property. Suppose we have two data sets, and the first data set is of size n1 with x1 bar as arithmetic mean and sigma 1 square as its variance, and the second data set has size n2 with arithmetic mean x2 bar and variance is a sigma 2 square corresponding to it. The standard deviation are sigma 1 and sigma 2. So these are the two data sets. Then we can compute the combined variance by the formula sigma c square equals to n1 into bracket sigma 1 square plus d1 square plus n2 into sigma 2 square plus d2 square divided by n1 plus n2. So this is the formula where d1 is x1 bar minus xc bar and d2 is x2 bar minus xc bar. Here xc bar is the combined average or combined arithmetic mean. We have seen this formula as n1 x1 bar plus n2 x2 bar divided by n1 plus n2. So this formula we have studied in properties of arithmetic mean. So here by using this formula we can compute the combined variance. To compute the combined standard deviation means if we want to calculate sigma c, then we will just take the square root of this term, and this property is generalized for n type of data sets. Means there are suppose more number of data sets, then we can calculate the sigma c by formula. So this sigma c square that is combined variance is a summation of ni into sigma I square plus di square divided by summation of ni. Suppose there are k data sets, then I running from 1 to k will be there. Again di is the difference between xi bar minus xc bar. So here we can calculate the combined variance for k data sets of combined variance or combined standard deviation. So these are the properties. Now let us see one more result, which is standard deviation is always greater than mean deviation. So we will see its proof. Suppose x1, x2 so on, xn are the data. Then suppose di equals to xi minus x bar. We are supposing this. Then mod of, so yi equals to absolute value of di. So let we have yi minus y bar bracket square is always positive. This we know that. Then if we take its summation, then yi minus y bar bracket square is greater than 0. Let us solve this bracket. So summation of yi square minus 2yi y bar plus y bar square is positive. We will take now this summation sign inside the bracket. So summation of yi square minus 2y bar into summation yi plus n times y bar square. This term is always positive. Now this will give us summation of yi square minus this summation yi can be written as n into y bar. So minus 2n into y bar square plus n into y bar square is positive. So summation of yi square minus n times y bar square is positive. Now let us divide both sides with n. So summation yi square minus y bar square is a positive. 1 upon n summation yi square is greater than y bar square. Mathematically we can prove this. Then if we take square root on both sides, then we will have this. So now substitute the value of yi, which is modulus of di, means xi minus x bar. So it will give us root of 1 upon n summation of xi minus x bar bracket square is greater than or equal to 1 upon n into summation of mod of di, means modulus of xi minus x bar. So which is standard deviation and it is mean deviation. So from here it can be proved that standard deviation is always greater than mean deviation. So in this topic we have learned the measures of dispersion. So range, quartile deviation, mean deviation and finally standard deviation. The merits, demerits for each type of measure of dispersion we have studied. So this will end this topic and thanks for watching me.